When we reflect on the history of human civilization, it's imperative to remember and understand all aspects of our collective past, including the most tragic and abhorrent episodes. An unfortunate yet significant part of our history is the institution of slavery, an insidious practice that has spanned continents, cultures, and centuries. Among the many horrors of slavery, the brutal punishments meted out to slaves stands out as a chilling testament to human inhumanity. In this article, we delve into some of the most appalling punishments that were inflicted upon slaves. Before proceeding, it's critical to approach this subject with respect, awareness, and sensitivity. The intent of this video is to provide historical education, not to exploit or sensationalize the suffering of those who were victimized by this grim chapter in history. Whipping, a form of punishment ubiquitous in cultures practicing slavery, particularly during the era of American plantation slavery, was a testament to the brute force applied to maintain control. Each lash of the whip, often made of leather or similarly harsh materials, tore into bare skin, leaving behind scars that served as lingering reminders of the violent subjugation enforced by slaveholders. The psychological torment was as damaging as the physical, with the aim to break the spirit of the enslaved and uphold the master's power. In the French colonies, particularly Saint-Domingue, now Haiti, the iron collar was a notorious form of punishment. This heavy metal device, fitted around the slave's neck, often bore outward-facing prongs or spikes. Its weight and awkwardness severely limited a slave's mobility, while the protrusions made basic functions such as eating, sleeping, and even looking straight ahead a painful challenge. This form of punishment was intended. In certain regions and historical periods, mutilation was used as a particularly horrific means of punishment and control over slaves. This could involve the removal or maiming of body parts, often for perceived transgressions or to prevent escape attempts. The lasting physical damage and the psychological trauma inflicted by such brutal punishments were meant to reinforce the absolute power of the enslavers over the enslaved, a power enforced with unimaginable cruelty. And discarded overboard like refuse. The treadmill, an instrument of punishment chiefly used in the 19th century Caribbean, was a wheel of torment. This was far removed from the modern fitness device we know today. Enslaved individuals were forced to climb its ceaseless steps or face being crushed underneath. The physical exhaustion was relentless, and those unable to keep up were frequently whipped by overseers. This punishment was both physically torturous and psychologically destructive, adding to the psychological trauma of slavery. Alongside physical punishments, the psychological torment of slaves was an equally pernicious aspect of the institution of slavery. Slaves lived in constant fear of punishment, were often separated from their families, denied education, and forced to endure the denial of their basic humanity. These psychological punishments served to control and dehumanize slaves, stripping them of their identities, cultures, and self-worth. Shackling was a prevalent form of control in many slaveholding societies. The heavy iron chains, often placed around ankles or wrists, served as an ever-present reminder of the slave's lack of freedom and caused constant discomfort. In addition to shackling, slaves could be subjected to confinement in tiny, poorly ventilated spaces for extended periods. These oppressive conditions, coupled with limited access to food and water, led to malnutrition and disease. Shackling and confinement were both physically and emotionally excruciating, intensifying the feelings of hopelessness and despair among the enslaved. In the French colonies, particularly Saint-Domingue, now Haiti, the iron collar was a notorious form of punishment. This heavy metal device, fitted around the slave's neck, often bore outward-facing prongs or spikes. Its weight and awkwardness severely limited a slave's mobility, while the protrusions made basic functions such as eating, sleeping, and even looking straight ahead a painful challenge. This form of punishment was intended not only to inflict physical. In certain regions and historical periods, mutilation was used as a particularly horrific means of punishment and control over slaves. This could involve the removal or maiming of body parts, often for perceived transgressions or to prevent escape attempts. The lasting physical damage and the psychological trauma inflicted by such brutal punishments were meant to reinforce the absolute power of the enslavers over the enslaved, a power enforced with unimaginable cruelty. The treadmill, an instrument of punishment chiefly used in the 19th century Caribbean, was a wheel of torment. This was far removed from the modern fitness device we know today. Enslaved individuals were forced to climb its ceaseless steps or face being crushed underneath. The physical exhaustion was relentless, and those unable to keep up were frequently whipped by overseers. This punishment was both physically torturous and psychologically destructive, adding to the Alongside physical punishments, the psychological torment of slaves was an equally pernicious aspect of the institution of slavery. Slaves lived in constant fear of punishment, were often separated from their families, denied education, and forced to endure the denial of their basic humanity. These psychological punishments served to control and dehumanize slaves, stripping them of their identities, cultures, and self-worth. Shackling was a prevalent form of control in many slaveholding societies. The heavy iron chains, often placed around ankles or wrists, served as an ever-present reminder of the slave's lack of freedom and caused constant discomfort. In addition to shackling, slaves could be subjected to confinement in tiny, poorly ventilated spaces for extended periods. These oppressive conditions, coupled with limited access to food and water, led to malnutrition and disease. Shackling and confinement were both physically and emotionally excruciating, intensifying the feelings of hopelessness and despair among the enslaved. Lesson about the importance of promoting equality, justice, and human dignity in all aspects of society.